Hello, everyone. It's Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper with Stampin' Up. And it is Tuesday night, so it is time for our 8 o'clock time together. If you are on, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to try to orient this a little better. I think I just might have gone the wrong way. But I'll give you a minute or two to find me. And then we'll get started. Yes, I did go the wrong way. Let's come this way. How's that? All right. Get my lighting here a little better for you. Or try to anyway. Of course, the light's going to come right into the camera, I think. How's everybody doing? It was a hot one in South Central Pennsylvania. That's where I'm at. I actually live in a little town called Dillsburg. It is outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right along 15. So make sure to say hello as you're hopping on. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here. We're just going to do a little bit of housekeeping first. If you're wondering about these cards, these are what I call my just cards for the month of August. And hey, Valerie. And you have two ways to get this class. One is to purchase it outright for $15. And you get, hi, Karen, you get the 5 card kits and you get a step-by-step color PDF that I emailed to you and the envelopes to go with it. And all the embellishments and all the die cutting and all of that's done for you. So really you need to supply adhesive, ink, and greetings in most cases, if not all cases this month. Hey, I think I did pretty good there. So they're very quick and easy cards to put together, thus just cards. And that's one way to get it. And if you're long distance, we do ask for help with postage. It's about $4 to mail them. The other way is to place a minimum $30 product order on my website, which is addictedstamper.stampinup.net, and use this month's host code. And then you will earn the kits for free, or plus postage if you're long distance, but you wouldn't have that $15 class fee. If you're local, there's also an in-person class that you can come to in the middle of September. I usually do those about a week and a half after the end of the month. That gives me time to get everything cut and prepped for you. So if you're interested in that, those are the two ways that you can earn those. And there'll be some links below the video when we're done here tonight, so you don't have to wonder how to get more information. You can reach out to me. Just a reminder that celebration is continuing. As far as I know, the only 2 things that are sold out are the tree lot dies and the cards and envelopes in Pool Party and Soft Sea Foam. I believe everything else is still available. At least it was this morning as I was putting orders in. And of course, we've introduced additional product that you can get for free with your purchases in August while supplies last. That's the whole thing with celebration. It's while supplies last. But you also want to make sure if you're ordering something off of the flyer that you are using the item numbers that are listed on this flyer. That is the way that they come up free for a celebration item. If you try to use the regular item number that's in the catalog, it will either charge you or it will just say you can't order one of those due to promotion or something like that, which means that it's the wrong item number. So keep that in mind. The Cozy and Bright kit that was just released on August, I think it was the 2nd, is very popular. Oh my goodness, you guys have ordered a ton of those. And I'm excited about it. Mine shows up tomorrow, Thursday morning. Make sure you check me out over on my Facebook page at 10 a.m. Eastern time, because I'll be sharing this one along with another kit with you on Thursday morning. So, but that is a great kit for Christmas. And you get, I think it's 12 cards, 12 full-size cards that you're going to be able to make with that kit. All right. And then, of course, today is the last day to sign up for the Sunflower Paper Pumpkin kit, right? If that is something that you keep going, darn, I keep forgetting to do it, because I've done that. It is it. Tonight is it. So make sure you get signed up, and if you want to get that kit. And I'll put a link for my paper pumpkin in the description below as well. If you don't already have a demonstrator you're working with, you're welcome to use that to make sure that you get signed up to get that particular kit. Hi, Carol. Hi, Verna. Hi, Tina. Okay, so looky here. These are the cards that we made last week. I love this paper and I love that stamp set. That's the Wonderful Year. That is still available with a $100 qualifying purchase. You get the stamp set and the designer series paper. And then this one is also done with that paper and that beautiful stamp set, just another card. So the winner of these is Thelma. Thelma, I don't know if I saw you hop on or not, but congratulations. I will put these in your bag for club because I have some other goodies for you for club. So I'll just pop them in there and then you'll have all your goodies together. Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to play with hybrid embossing folders. What the heck is a hybrid embossing folder? How do you use it? What can we do with it? So I've got a couple different projects I'm going to share with you and then one I'll show you at the very end. This one is a returning one, right? This is in the mini catalog, the July through December mini catalog. You'll find it on page 23. It coordinates with the Merriest Moments stamp set. This is such a pretty stamp set for Christmas, but it is called the Merriest Frames Hybrid Embossing Folder. And the funny thing about that is when you get that embossing folder, which looks like this, okay, you also get, whoops, hang on, I just threw them on the floor. You also get a set of dies. Now these are going to be messy because I don't have them on a magnetic sheet, but let me share these with you. So all the dies cut out the stamped images, right? And then this is a little frame that fits in the center of the embossing folder. Of course, that's not true to size, but all your poinsettias, all your holly leaves, your berries, your greenery, all of that is here for you to die cut. And then we have these two large pieces. These two large pieces are what we're going to use tonight. I did pre-cut a rectangle with that. That's stitched, by the way, in case you're wondering. And I'm going to show you how to do a really cool card with that. Okay. So yeah, so the Merriest frames by themselves, it's $39, but it is the embossing folder, which is a 3D folder. There's an extra one I had cut, and the die set. So you get both of those for the $33. And then the Merriest Moments stamp set is $22 if you want to add that on, which why wouldn't you? Because you want to be able to use all those fabulous dies. So that's the first one we're going to start with. We actually have 3 hybrid sets right now. So let's start with that one. And the other product that I'm using tonight is the Windows dies. And if you watched my live over on Facebook a couple weeks ago, we played with this. As a matter of fact, here's the cards we made. These are fabulous, right? Love that. Look, we turned it into a Halloween project and then 2 Christmas projects. So we're just using the bow here out of the window dies, but that bundles with the window wishes, and that is also in the July through December mini catalog. All right. My hands do not want to cooperate with me. We're going to use some cherry cobbler and some soft succulent tonight. And are you ready to see the card? Me too. It might be a surprise tonight because I thought it was here, but it's not. Okay, well, it'll be a surprise. Oh, there it is. I'm like, I don't know what happened to it. There we go. So this is our card. This is a little bit of a fun fold as well. Okay, and it opens up like this. So we've got some soft succulents and cherry cobbler, some of the beautiful designer series painted Christmas paper, and of course, basic white. And it's a little, what I call a little flip fold there. Okay, so I love that, right? Because when they open it, they don't lose the pretty card front. Hopefully they realize that they need to open it this way, because if they open it like a regular card, yes, it does disappear for them. But this way, when they stand it up to display it, because, you know, they don't put texts and emails on a mantle, do they? They put their cards on a mantle or a tabletop or a counter or wherever they have space for them. All right, so we're going to start with our soft succulent. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. We are going to score that at 2 1/8. And then 4 1/4. So basically you're scoring it just like you would a normal card and then scoring the front fold in half or the front flap in half. And I can put the paper trimmer away. I do love that paper trimmer. I cut everything on it. Everything I do is cut on the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, which I know people think I'm crazy because, you know, there's other trimmers out there or other paper cutters out there that you can do a much bigger quantity of paper, but that one is true. I never have to worry that my cuts are going to be off or my score lines are going to be off. And I love it. So I just continue to use it. So there's the piece for our card base. Then I have a piece of cherry cobbler. And look, here's a little money saving tip. We were cutting that pretty bow out, right? Well, why get another piece of cherry cobbler? I'm just going to use this because nobody's ever going to see it, because we're going to put a piece of designer series paper on top. Thank you guys. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Betty. So keep that little trick in mind, because that one little bow, you probably would have a scrap laying around, but still you can use that scrap on something else then, right? I like to conserve where possible. It allows me to buy extra fun toys, right? There is the flap. This is all the easy stuff we're doing first, right? It's all easy, guys. I'm just teasing you. It's all easy. This is our piece for the inside. And I did use a greeting from the Merriest Moments stamp set. That's the stamp set that coordinates with the hybrid folder. We are going to grab that and ink it up with some cherry cobbler. There we go. Photopolymer stamp was stuck on top of the ink pad. Tell you what, when you first get your photopolymer stamps, well, and even your red rubber stamps, right? They're really sticky. You want to be careful with them. So that just says a joyful Christmas to you and yours. We're going to mount that on the inside. I'm not worried about that because the hybrid folder that we're going to do will cover that up. And while we're stamping, we're going to go ahead and stamp our wreath from the Window Wishes. We're going to do that in soft succulent. Has anybody played with the hybrid folders? And of course, like always, if you're joining us, please say hi. Let me know where you're watching from, and you'll be entered into the drawing for the projects I make tonight. All right, so we have the stamping done. That is all the stamping we're going to do on this project. Now we're going to work with our embossing folder and die. You have a little? Okay, good. Oh, Corinne has it? Okay. I really think they're fun. And I've had this one since it came out. I've got the Rings of Nature's, the other one we're going to play with tonight. So this die is pretty straightforward, right? It is going to be our layer behind our white portion. So all I'm going to do is lay this on here And I think this is a 6.5 by 4.5 piece of cardstock. And you can see it goes edge to edge. I'm going to take that over to my embossing machine. That's just a regular die cut. I will try to bring the machine in when we do the next portion, although I'm sure I'm going to shake you. It'll be like a little earthquake is happening. Oh, please no. We've actually had earthquakes in Pennsylvania. I can remember sitting in my office many years ago, and we had a very tall gentleman that worked for us, and he walked across the floor, and I thought, wow, he just shook the floor, because I had, in the building I had worked in before, we had a suspended floor. So I was thinking it was the suspended floor and he was shaking the floor. No, we were on the ground level. We had an earthquake. Tina has it, Berna has. Okay, so that's our background. Then let's pull in our folder. So you can use this in a ton of different ways. I'm going to go the whole way tonight and show you how to use it in one step, but you could just emboss a piece of cardstock with this. Or we can do what I'm about to do. So what I'm going to do, first I want to make sure that I don't have any little pieces of cardstock stuck in my die. Sometimes that happens. And we want it to be as clean and crisp a cut as we can get. I think it was just those two little pieces. Oh, one more. Okay. So one side of your die is going to have a trough around it, right? And what you want to do is you want to line it up and find that trough. Typically, it is the side that has the Stampin' Up logo on it. And I say typically because sometimes they fool me, but let's see if I can get this to do what I need it to do. And this might be one of the times they fool me. Now, come on. If I hadn't just done this, I'd think I was losing my mind. I'm sure it's this side. Maybe we don't lock this one in. Maybe it's the next one we lock in. Okay, we're going to do this the other way, and then I'll do the lock in with you on the next one. How's that sound? So what we're going to do is we are going to run our basic white through the embossing folder. Okay, so I'm going to line that up so that I get as much of that folder as I can. And I've got all of the greenery on both sides and down here at the bottom. So we're going to be good. I'm going to run that through just like I would a 3D embossing folder. This way you'll know all the ways to do it. So again, it's just going to be your base platform, your folder, and then your specialty plate on top. And then what you can do, now this is the other way to do it. We could have done it all at once, and I don't know why that was fighting me tonight. We're going to run this through now and just die cut that piece out. Okay, so now we're going to go back to base platform, plate 2, and then your cutting pads. And my cutting pad, I finally remembered to order new cutting pads. I'm so excited. So I want to make sure that stays in place. I'm going to grab a couple pieces of that Post-it note tape that I use, because we don't want it to shift on us. And we'll just hold that in place a little bit on both sides, put a cutting pad on top, and instead of bringing the machine in, I'm just going to go run this through. then we'll peel off the tape. See, it's already coming out. Peel this piece off as well. And there's our beautiful die cut. This is now going into the trash can, which my sweet husband just emptied for me. Like, you do realize I have a live tonight, right? Yeah, I know, he said. All right, so let me grab my little pokey tool here. You could use your die brush. These are so small and so fine that I just tend to go with the pointy end on the take your pick tool. So there is our piece. Now we can just line that up on our greens, just like that. Okay, oops, there's one piece I missed. So you can absolutely do it that way, or you can lock it in like I'm going to show you on the next one. We're going to go ahead and mount that. I'm actually going to choose to use Tombow to mount this because of all the greenery going around it. I want to make sure that some of that gets mounted well as the center. So we're just going to add a little Tombow all around. But this would make a beautiful embossing folder just standalone. You could just emboss and use that on your project as it looked before we cut this one. I'm gonna try to keep my fingers out of the glue. We'll see how successful I am. There we go. Isn't that pretty backed? I love that. I was not successful. I have glue on my fingers. Oh, thanks, Tina. All right, so then we're going to grab some dimensionals. I just put a brand new sheet in here with my pen marks. Finally remembered to do that. If you haven't watched me before and you're like, well, why do you draw a pen all over it? Because when I put these on a piece, now it's real easy when I start taking the backings off for me to know which ones are done and which ones aren't. All right, that's going to go in the center. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to grab that Tombow again and just do a dot on the back of the bow in the center. Just a little dot of glue will do. And we're going to pop that on our wreath. And again, both the wreath and the bow are from Window Wishes in the mini catalog. Then I'm going to take my seal or my Seal Plus, whichever you prefer. And we're going to put about 3 strips down that long side. And we're going to mount this on our card front. And you can decide if you want it to come the whole way out into the soft succulent, or if you want to keep it over further. I like it coming out over onto the soft succulent, so I do put it that direction. Okay. Really crooked tonight, guys. Sorry. It's been a rough day. Okay, so there we go. We're going to add one little feature. You got to have some holly berries on that wreath, right? These are the red and green and adhesive back pearls is what they're labeled when you get the product, because you're going to order the festive pearls. But these are the festive pearls / red and green backed adhesive backed pearls. So don't think that you got the wrong thing when they come. Just a little bit of a switch up, I think, from the manufacturer facility to what we Stampin' Up probably originally thought they were going to be called. And I'm putting groupings of 3 because that's how I see holly berries. So this is someone I like a lot that's going to get this card because that's a lot of embellishments on there. But how cute is that little wreath and with its berries and that beautiful background? I love it. You like the layered look? I like the layered look too. I really do. And this one is the only one I believe that has a layered look for the large piece like this, right? So this is like a frame that you can use. You can even, if you are somebody that does photo cards for Christmas, you could absolutely do this and have a small picture of your family or your pets or whatever you like to send a picture of for Christmas in the center, right? That would be fun. And again, when you order that, you're going to get the embossing folder that we use to create the detail, as well as the beautiful dies, the Mary's Frames dies. Okay. All right, so that was project number 1. Move on to the next project. As I find my table. All right, so we're going to play with Ringed with Nature, and it's coordinating embossing folder. Oops. Okay, and then the dies that come with that. And you have all of these rings. So this is going to be one big piece. Then you have the centers for them, so you can make it a lighter color. And then you even have this piece that will cut the center out of the lighter ones to let the dark show through, just like the center of a tree, right? Oh, thank you, Carol. Thanks, Verna. So, pull that one out here. I'll show you the card that we're going to make. So I'm using the celebration paper, the Ringed in Love, and then a Ringed with Love, and then the Ringed with Nature stamp set. Look at the cute little toadstools. Oh my goodness, I just love them. I just love them. And then I actually stamped the toadstools in the same colors that I built them out of the dies in the paper on the front. And I have a little trick to show you on how you're going to get the white in the little depressions in the toadstool. All right. My inks, and my stamps. And my bag of goodies. So this is just a regular Poppy Parade piece of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5. Oh, that card that I just shared with you, the Christmas card, that's going to be part of my mini stack of stamp this month. So that information will be coming out on that hopefully by the end of the week. And we'll have a quick turnaround on that one so we can fit that in here at the end of August. But yes, we have another Christmas mini Stamp-A-Stack coming. A little bit of crushed curry. We're going to go ahead and stamp the inside. And we're using the crushed curry ink for the stems and the Poppy Parade for the toadstool heads, if you will. I'm going to put that right down here. Those stems slant. So if you want them, if you don't want them to look like they're floating in the air, you kind of twist it a little bit to get it to sit down almost even with the edge of your paper. And then this is all one stamp. They all 3 line up together. So it makes it fairly easy to get great toadstools. How cute are they? I have not played enough with this Ringed with Nature yet. I really want to spend some additional time with it. have to go for some blood work in the morning, but tomorrow is an entire day in my studio and I can't wait. Oh, good. Wrong card. I'm trying to put it inside the one we already did, or I already did. Yes, it's fun. It is a fun set. Okay, so there's that. So now we're going to bring in a piece of crumb cake and our folder. And we are going to look for the raised edge with my fingers. I'm looking for the raised edge, okay? Again, it is usually the side that has the Stampin' Up logo on it, because we're going to do a fun little technique here with our embossing folder as well. And some of you probably seen this, if you all have, but I have soft suede, and I'm going to lightly tap. Depending on the folder, you can lightly drag it across. This one, every time I tried to drag, I ended up with ink. Lots of places I didn't want it. So we're going to tap on this one. And I think we're good. We have what we want. I'm going to close that up. And then I'm going to lay this in the center, and I'm laying it on the other side so I don't bump it, move it, shift it as I'm laying it down, which would mean that I would end up with ink places I did not want it. And I'm going to close my folder. And then I'm going to run this through the embossing machine. It is a 3D folder, so it is our standard 3D sandwich, which is just the base and the specialty plate. And look how not only are they embossed, but look how they pop out of there. And I'm going to be right back. I forgot to get a wipe before I started, so let me grab one of those. Or in this case, how about a wet paper towel? Because we're going to continue to use the folder, so I'm going to want to get the ink out of that. But isn't that awesome how that looks? I love how that comes out. It's nice and deeply embossed. And then, of course, our ink. And I'll be changing out my grid paper after this one. Make sure I get that all out of there. Okay. I know it is neat, isn't it? I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that's going to be our background. And actually, I think I did a better job inking it tonight than I did when I made the first one. So we can go ahead. I'm going to let this dry while we put some more of this together. We have our strip of our celebration paper. And I've got a little red accent here. We're just going to run some adhesive along the back. And then mount that just so we have a little border. Needed a little pop of color. That's a trick on how you can do that. Just add something. Gives it to me, it finishes it. Doesn't have that raw designer series paper edge. And this is going to go right down to the bottom edge of our embossed cardstock. And I'm going to trim that. Well, that's weird. Do you normally get the notification from YouTube, or do you get the notification when I post on on Facebook that I'm going to be live? Connie, I'm still trying to figure it all out. I think I'm going to try. I've always gone in through Zoom so others could watch, but since everybody's now gotten on to YouTube, I think I'm going to try to start going live in YouTube, and then I should be able to pre-schedule them or directly to YouTube rather than through Zoom. So we're going to mount this in the center. And then I have this big piece of soft suede. I'm going to grab this big die. Okay. Now, again, we're looking for where this will lock into place. I think it's right there. Okay. So it's not that you couldn't knock that out of there, but you can see it's not coming out. So again, it is on the Stampin' Up side. It is on the Stampin' Up side. We're going to lock that in. Now, in this case, I am going to put my paper here and I'm going to close my folder. So not only, as you saw here, we embossed, we added a little bit of ink, right, to get that deeper impression or that deeper color. But now we're going to emboss and we're going to die cut at the same time. Now, here is my warning label, right? The warning label is do not do this with folders that are not embossing folders. When you do this, make sure that you find the side that it locks into place. Again, usually the one with the Stampin' Up label on it, and that it is locked in place and that you've got your cardstock in there and nothing is going to shift on you. If the die shifts before you get it into the die cutting machine, you will end up cutting the other side of your folder and ruining your folder. So you do want to be careful with this, but it is a time saver and it's a very, very cool way to create with your cards. So just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm building my sandwich. Sorry, I did not mean to put any of that on there. I meant to grab the specialty plate because even though it has the die cut in there, it's still a 3D folder. So it's just that same sandwich, base plate and specialty plate, or 1 and 4 if you go by numbers. It rolls through just like a 3D folder does. Okay. And then we're going to take that off. We're going to open this up. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Can make that like a picture of this window. And then here are all of your tree trunks. So if you want a background, you emboss like we did. Don't have to add the ink. I just did that for a little additional detail. If you want the rings, you can do what I just did, which again was open it up, find the side that's going to allow you to lock the die into place. Okay, so it doesn't move. Put your cardstock in on that side and close it and then run it through. Always run through, right, with your fold at the top or on the side, never ever in the back. And then you will have this effect. Questions on any of that? All right, so yes, you can do embossing, you can do die cutting. You could have just embossed the piece and then taken this die over it like I did on the first card and cut them that way. But by putting it into your embossing folder, you save some time, which I don't know about you, but when I'm in my craft studio, time is of the essence. Just trying to get it all done. But you can certainly do them as separate individual pieces. If you're working with someone who's new to crafting and they don't know how to use embossing folders or hybrid embossing folders especially, then I highly recommend you have them do it separately so you don't end up having your die or your embossing folder cut. All right, so then I did go ahead, as you saw there were some smaller circles in there. I cut this out. This is the one that's going to layer perfectly on our piece that we're going to use as our accent. I'm going to stamp that first with the Thinking of You from Ringed with Nature and the Poppy Parade ink. I do want to try to make sure I'm somewhat straight when I actually mount this to my card front. So let's see, about like that. Notice I say somewhat straight. Okay. We can always twist if we need to, right? Yeah, I like it. I do like it. I like this set a lot. I love it with the celebration paper, and that is still available. I'm just going to go ahead and mount this now. I'm going to be sad with that celebration papers leaves because I had to tell you, it is one of my favorites. There might be a class coming with that. I might have some extras of that. Might be planning something. You never know with me. All right, let's go ahead and I went ahead and cut our toadstools, and all these dies that I'm using are out of the Ringed with Nature bundle. But we're going to go ahead and mount our toadstools here. And you get 2. So where did I put those dies? Did I put those dies somewhere? Toadstool die is this guy. So these are the stems, and you get 2. One curves left and one curves right. And you only get one of the heads for the toadstool. But that's okay. Pop that one up a little bit higher. And then I should have another one somewhere in my goodie bag of tricks. Except it's falling onto my lap and then probably onto the floor. There we go. I got it. I got it. And I want this guy because he's going the other direction. And we're going to drop him right about there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and mount this to our card front because what I did is I popped the heads on with dimensionals. So we're going to mount that right about there. That's going to go on flat. I found another 8 of the older seals down at my mom's house when I was down there this weekend working. So I'll be fighting with that for a little bit longer. I'm so glad we got that fixed. I got a couple extra stems I'll hang on to for another time. And then, oh, I promised to show you. So I did go ahead and do a couple of these. There's the one I didn't do. So let me show you how I got the white in there. Our white craft pad. And I just used this on my Facebook Live. Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. So the white craft pad and a blender pen. Not a blend, a blender pen, right? So this is what we use sometimes when we're watercoloring with our pencils or to move ink around, all that fun stuff. I just took it, and normally I would put a puddle in the lid of the ink pad, but I'm not doing that tonight. I just took it because, you know, we don't have the white chalk marker anymore. If you have one, you could use that as well. And then I just took that white ink right into the center of those little divots. And I'm doing this with my glasses on, so not the best. Just like that. And that's how you add the white too. So it gives it a little bit of a highlight, right? And since I'm getting rid of this paper, I'm going to scribble off the white craft ink onto it, just like I would if I was using colored ink, right? Just scribble your blender pen. So that's a pretty cool trick, I think. We're going to grab the dimensionals again. I'm going to use the little ones this time, since we have a little less space to work with. I'll let that guy dry for a second or two. And mine do okay. They didn't dry light. I was worried about that. But if yours dry light, then you could just go back and add more white to it. you just never know, right? And the only way we find out, I keep wanting to do the same with the card I created to begin with. The way you find out if something's going to do what you think it is just to try it. Because I had no idea what I was going to do to get that highlight in there, but it worked. Now the white craft ink is a pigment ink, as I mentioned the other day. So it is going to stay wet a little bit longer. You can emboss with the white craft ink. You don't need Versamark with it. You can just stamp in white craft and pour the powder over and it will emboss. And there's lots of other fun techniques you can do with it. So I think I am going to do kind of a learn with Lori session with white craft ink for us as well sometime. All right, guys, there is project number 2. A little bit different, right? We did the ink on the embossing folder to get our background, and then we embossed and die cut our soft suede all at one time. But I think that is a cute, cute card as well. And then the third one I'm not going to make with you because I don't want to steal your entire night, but let me show you this one. This is the new Twigs and Sprigs. Now, Twigs and Sprigs is in the annual catalog. The Merriest Moments was in the July through December. And of course, Rings of Nature is in July through December. That's on page 62. Twigs and Sprigs, you're going to find in the back of the annual catalog with the embossing folders. It does not have a coordinating stamp set with it. But look at this. This, I did the exact same thing that I did here for our background. I patted my ink pad. This is Highland Heather. I patted my ink pad on the embossing folder and then ran it through with the die inside the folder, and it cut all of those out for me and gave me the colored pieces to create my green spray, not green in this case, purple spray behind our label. So I don't usually share, this particular card is going to be a freebie Friday this week. I think it's this week. It's either this week or next week. And I don't usually share my freebie Fridays on social media because that's an exclusive benefit for my newsletter subscribers. But if you're not a newsletter subscriber, this is an example of one of the types of cards that you would get. And as I said, that will be freebie Fridays this week. But I wanted to show that to you because it highlights the Twigs and Sprigs 3D embossing folder where we did Rings of Nature and Merriest Moments tonight. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell if you haven't. It really does help me out, and it allows YouTube to know that you like what you're seeing, and maybe they'll show more of me. And if you're watching the replay after the live is over, I appreciate that too. But be sure to leave a comment and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all of those good things. With the comments, you'll be entered into the drawing as well. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a good week. And if you happen to be around at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, pop over to my Facebook page and check that out. We're going to be doing kit collections. So I'm excited to share some of the new ones with you. Have a great one, guys. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.